Hello, on behalf of the FACES organization and the board of directors, I'm Tommy Alquist, and welcome to our 10th anniversary gala. We are so pleased to have you here tonight and hope that you will feel the passion and energy of this organization. 10 years ago, FACES began as a dream. It is the bottom of the safety net. There's a lot of talk in our community about a safety net, but these are the people, the victims, who need us most. And because of great work from Jan Bennett and Jean Fisher and the rest of their team, we're here tonight. We are incredibly grateful for 10 years of service and for the miracle it is that we have this organization here, for the service they provide and for all that they do for our community. Thank you for being here, and enjoy this video that explains some of the service that's provided every day in our community.
The journey to the Faces of Hope Victim Center began 10 years ago, and it's been an incredible journey. It was our dream when we started this journey that we would be able to provide services for our most vulnerable crime victims, victims of child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, and elder abuse. And when we began this journey 10 years ago, it's in stark contrast to what we see here today, which is an incredible location where all victims of vulnerable crimes such as sexual assault, domestic violence, child abuse, and elder abuse can have services wrapped around them when they walk in the door. We provide them with hope, we provide them with healing, and we give them the opportunity to go out into the world stronger and more courageous than they were when they came in. One of the things that has inspired me more than anything else in this 10-year journey has been the community collaboration, the partnership collaboration, and the FACES Foundation that has recently developed Chairman Tommy Alquist and all the community members who have come so far to help us in seeing this Faces of Hope Victim Center truly come to life.
My job at FACES is as a CARES physician. We provide comprehensive medical assessments of children who have been victims of abuse or witnesses to domestic violence or witnesses of very traumatic events. We provide both physical health needs as well as emotional health needs. As a result, sometimes we need to do tests for these children in order to determine if they have some medical illnesses and provide follow-up care for them for kids who may have never even seen a doctor before in their lives.
In the year 2015, we saw 201 patients here that had either been victims of sexual abuse or domestic violence. Those victims were seen, evaluated, interviewed, and assessed by a forensic nurse examiner. We happen to have 10 nurses on our team right now. Those nurses are a mix of nurses from St. Luke's and St. Alphonsus. We all work together. 90% of our exams are completed here at FACES, which saves the emergency room. As you can tell, our environment here is much more peaceful, calm. It's not chaotic. They're not interrupted, and they feel safe because they've walked through 2 locked doors to get here. Our nurses take call 24/7. We work as part of a multidisciplinary team. Our interviews are done most of the time in concurrence with a detective and a victim witness coordinator, so that we're meeting the needs of the victim and providing a safety net for them in the immediate time after a domestic violence or sexual assault.
My name is Ashley King, and I'm a St. Luke's family physician. My primary care background really provides me a unique skill set to provide acute and follow-up care for victims of sexual assault and domestic violence here at the Faces of Hope Victim Center. My role here really represents a unique partnership between St. Luke's and FACES. We're able to meet the medical needs of victims in our community. We are actually only about 1 of 10 family justice centers in the country that offer this really multidisciplinary approach with on-site medical care. The ability to spend 2 hours of face-to-face time with a victim is such a unique opportunity to really develop early rapport and trust with that patient. They're able to come back to the center for follow-up visits feeling so much more comfortable just in this environment. Over time, they really start to view this as a place of hope and healing.
When victims come into the center, we have a variety of services that we have available depending on what their needs are, whether it's legal aid, if it's protection order information with a WCA advocate. We offer empowerment classes to help victims understand what domestic violence is and how it affects them and their family. We offer self-defense classes, and then just a variety of other services that a victim might need right when they're in the throes of their crisis.
Boise Police Department has invested significant resources down here at FACES. We're co-located with Health and Welfare, St. Al's, St. Luke's, Women and Children's Alliance, the prosecuting attorney's office. Also located down here at FACES, the Boise Police Department has victim witness services. There's a supervisor that works down here at FACES, along with 5 victim witness coordinators who are able to provide services here at FACES and also able to seek services from the community for victims and provide those services here.
We visit with them about their history. We get lethality assessments. We make sure that their forensic and medical needs are met, and we do everything that we can to stabilize them so that when they're ready to go to court, we're ready for them. It's the best way to ensure stability. It's the best way to get outcomes that are successful, and it's the best way to hold offenders accountable. That's the beauty of FACES, is that all of these partners are here together, working together, wrapping our services around victims to ensure the best outcome possible. Now that you've heard from all of our partners, you've heard from our multidisciplinary team and all the things that they can offer victims, we want you to hear from a real victim and the story that brought her here to FACES and what ultimately happened in her journey for stability and empowerment and accountability for the offender. Thank you.
The 911 call came in at 11:12 a.m. on November 24th, 2015. The victim, Michelle, reported that she and her 2 young children were about to die in a murder-suicide by her husband. This is the rest of her story.
When she woke on the morning of November 24th, 2015, Michelle knew it was going to be a bad day. The sound of his voice, the look in his eyes. On days like this, she said she felt like she was walking on eggshells. It never took much to make him mad. Some days it was her son not eating the crust on his sandwich. Other days it was the cat meowing. Sometimes it was her doing the laundry at the wrong time of day. Forcing his son to eat the crust out of the garbage, kicking the cat, and calling Michelle derogatory names in front of the children were his most nonviolent forms of punishment.
Michelle was 26 years old. Her children were ages 5 and 7. She and her husband had been together for the last 10 years since meeting in high school. She was the sole provider for the family while studying to become a nurse. The abuse had been a constant during the 10 years of their relationship. The husband punching, kicking, attempting to strangle Michelle. 2 weeks prior to November 24th, in a fit of rage, he threw an apple at her, striking her thigh. The bruising was still significant, ranging in colors from purple, blue to black.
That morning of November 24th, the husband began yelling at the children. Next, her husband physically attacked Michelle. Her husband then forced Michelle and the children into the car. Michelle's husband began recklessly driving from West Boise toward Lucky Peak at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Michelle's husband screamed repeatedly at them that they were all going to die. Michelle was huddled in his backseat with the children. While he was weaving in and out of traffic, he would reach into the back seat to punch her as she desperately tried to call 911. He ultimately tore the cell phone out of her hand and smashed it on the dash, rendering it useless. Frantic for help, she breathed onto the window and drew 911 in the mist.
Unable to attract attention with her 911 message and no phone to call for help, Michelle could do nothing but try to calm her husband and beg for their lives. As she pleaded, he muted her cries by blaring the car radio. Driving in excess of 100 miles an hour, Michelle and the children were tossed back and forth inside the car. His crying children did not slow him down. Approaching the dam at Lucky Peak, Michelle's husband yelled, "I hope you all know how to swim." He drove the family over the dam and toward the lake. At that very moment, Michelle believed her and her children were going to die. But inexplicably, Michelle's husband stopped the car before driving into the water and got out.
The minute he stepped out of the car, Michelle got in the driver's seat, slammed it in reverse, and fled to safety.
While the immediate investigation itself was horrific, it was only after Michelle and her children were brought to FACES and seen at St. Luke's Cares that it was discovered just how much they had suffered.
While at FACES, Michelle received forensic medical care, spoke with prosecutors and victim witness coordinators with the DV Core program, received referrals for counseling in the empowerment class, and had the opportunity to speak with Women's and Children's Alliance advocates for safety planning.
Bringing Michelle and her children to FACES was invaluable for the further investigation of this case, which resulted in prosecution and accountability for the offender, Michelle's husband.
Michelle was afraid, overwhelmed, anxious, and didn't know what to do or where to go next. By bringing her to FACES, we were able to provide her with a safety net of support services that allowed her to have her questions and concerns answered in a safe, empathetic, caring way.
I want to express my gratitude. I want you to know that you made my children and I feel safe. I also want to thank you for helping me to open my eyes to the truth of what a violent relationship is. You kept us safe. You helped open my eyes during this difficult time, and for that, you will remain in our hearts. I never knew a place like FACES existed. I met so many people there who cared for me and my children. As a result of coming to FACES, the children have been in counseling for the last year. I am still working and studying to become a nurse. I've left him and looked to the future with hope.
We provide healing.
We provide empowerment.
We provide justice.
We provide hope.